Long ago, in a forgotten corner of the earth, nestled between emerald hills and sapphire rivers, there lived a tribe whose laughter echoed through the ages. Their days were filled with the vibrant hues of life, the melodies of their customs, and the rich tapestry of their history. They were a people whose knowledge was as vast as the stars in the sky, and whose wisdom was as deep as the roots of the ancient trees that cradled their homes. Amongst them lived a man whose spirit burned with an insatiable curiosity. His thirst for understanding knew no bounds, driving him to explore every nook and cranny of their traditions. He delved deep into the ancient texts, poring over the faded inks and weathered pages, determined to unlock the secrets of their past. His dedication was unwavering, his commitment absolute, making him the keeper of their history. Then suddenly, the tranquility of their world was shattered. War, driven by the insatiable greed of outsiders, descended upon their peaceful realm. The once harmonious tunes of their villages were replaced by the discordant symphony of battle. The lush landscapes that cradled their homes became battlegrounds, stained with the grim hues of conflict. Amidst this turmoil, our protagonist found himself torn from the familiar embrace of his home. He watched in anguish as his world was ripped apart, his heart heavy with the weight of his people's suffering. As he fled, clutching fragments of his heritage clothes, the specter of war loomed over him, threatening to snuff out the flame of their culture. It was a haunting melody of loss and displacement that echoed the tragic tales of countless generations past. Driven by an unyielding resolve, he embarked on a journey, guided by the flickering stars and fueled by the fading embers of hope. He roamed through uncharted territories, each step echoing the rhythm of survival. All around him, the echoes of war reverberated, serving as a stark reminder of the fragility of their heritage and the precariousness of their existence. His odyssey led him deep into the labyrinthine heart of the jungle, where the air hung heavy with secrets and the symphony of life played in hushed tones. Here, amidst the emerald embrace of ancient trees, he sought refuge, hoping to shield the remnants of his culture from the tempestuous winds of war. But as the shadows lengthened and the jungle's symphony swelled, he realized that his battle for survival had just begun. For within this verdant realm, he was a stranger, an outsider navigating a world governed by its own rhythms and rules. He was a lone warrior, battling not just the elements, but the ghosts of his past and the specters of a vanishing culture. This was his new reality, a world where every step was a gamble and every sunrise a victory. He was skilled in the art of tracking and hunting, traits honed by necessity during his desperate flight from the war-torn villages. In this unforgiving terrain, he tracked his prey with the focus of a seasoned hunter, ensuring that each step was deliberate, each move purposeful. The bow and arrow became his primary tools, their silent whispers carrying the weight of his survival in the hushed tones of the ancient forest. Days bled into nights and seasons, waltzed into years. Still, he persevered, driven by an indomitable spirit and the fading embers of hope. Through it all, the memory of his people and their traditions served as his guiding star, reminding him of the treasures he was safeguarding. And then one fateful day, as the sun dripped gold onto the emerald canopy, he stumbled upon a hidden clearing. It was a sanctuary, untouched by the turmoil of the outside world. There, amidst the gentle rustle of leaves and the murmur of a nearby stream, he felt a profound sense of calm envelop him. This was his sanctuary, his refuge from the relentless march of time and the echoes of war. Here, surrounded by the soothing embrace of nature, he began to piece together the fragments of his past, weaving together the threads of his heritage into a tapestry of resilience and hope. His spirit, though battered by the winds of adversity, refused to be extinguished. And so he built a humble abode in this secluded haven, determined to honor the legacy of his people amidst the ruins of their world. In the solitude of his new home, he delved into the depths of his being, unearthing the timeless wisdom of his ancestors. He delved into ancient oral traditions, each tale and legend a beacon guiding him through the darkness of displacement. He immersed himself in the rhythmic cadence of their language, its melodious tones a balm to his wounded soul. And as he grappled with the intricate patterns of their crafts, he found solace in the tangible expressions of his cultural heritage. But as the twilight of his life approached, a profound realization dawned upon him. The burden of preserving his people's history, once a source of strength, now threatened to consume him. The weight of being the sole custodian of his heritage. The last ember in the fading firelight of his culture pressed heavily upon his heart. With each passing day, the specter of oblivion loomed larger, casting a long shadow over his existence. The thought that, without a successor, the rich tapestry of his culture might unravel. Leaving his people's legacy lost to the winds of time filled him with a deep sense of foreboding. As if fate itself were conspiring to mirror his inner turmoil, a creeping illness began to take root within him. It crept through his veins like a stealthy thief, sapping his strength and stealing his vitality. With each passing day, the specter of mortality loomed closer, serving as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of his existence. Time, the relentless sculptor, chiseled away at his strength, forcing him to confront the stark realities of his mortality. He understood that his life, like the ancient trees that adorned the landscape, had reached the autumn of its years. The winter of old age was at the door, and he knew that his story, along with the legacy of his people, might soon be relegated to the annals of oblivion. In the face of this encroaching darkness, he was seized by a profound sense of urgency. The realization that his life's journey was nearing its final chapter fueled a newfound determination within him. Faced with the abyss of his own mortality, he was galvanized into action. Drawing upon the reservoir of strength born from desperation, he embarked on a mission to safeguard his people's heritage. His illness may have sapped his physical vigor, but it couldn't touch the indomitable spirit that resided within him. His mind, sharp and agile, raced against time, devising a plan to ensure that the tapestry of his culture wouldn't be lost to the winds of oblivion. He remembered the age-old tales his ancestors had shared, stories that spoke of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring power of the human spirit. These narratives weren't just bedtime stories. They were survival kits, handbooks of hope passed down through generations. And he realized that these stories held the key to his people's survival. So he began to weave his own narrative, a story that encapsulated the essence of his people's culture, their struggles, their triumphs, and their unyielding spirit. He wanted to create a chronicle that would serve as a beacon, guiding his people back to the shores of their heritage. If they ever found themselves lost in the turbulent seas of time, with newfound purpose coursing through his veins, he ventured into the heart of the jungle, seeking materials to craft his unique vessels of remembrance. He gathered animal hides, transforming them into makeshift pages, and sharpened bones into rudimentary pens. But the most crucial element was missing, the ink that would breathe life onto his pages. As he pondered, his gaze fell upon a clay bowl nestled amidst his belongings. It was a simple, unassuming object, yet it held within it the solution to his quandary. With a mixture of earth pigments, he transformed the clay bowl into a vessel of remembrance. He dipped his bone pen into the crimson depths, each stroke a testament to his unwavering spirit. On each page, he painstakingly recorded stories, songs, and the very essence of his people's traditions. It was a race against time, a desperate bid to keep his people's legacy alive. As his illness took a firmer grip, his movements grew slower, each stroke of his pen a monumental effort. Yet he pressed on, driven by the belief that he was not just writing history, he was etching hope itself onto those fragile pages. Finally, with the last vestiges of his strength, he completed his magnum opus. The pages, though crude, were filled with the richness of his people's culture. They were his legacy, his gift to the future. He hid these blood-bound pages deep within the earth, encasing them in the hollow of a tree, hoping that someday, somehow, they would be discovered. His story, along with the story of his people, would live on, defying the ravages of time and the specter of oblivion. He closed his eyes, his final breath a whisper of his ancestors' wisdom, his body frail and weary, yielded to the relentless march of time. As his spirit took flight, it left behind a legacy that was anything but ordinary, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity and the enduring power of cultural resilience. The jungle, his sanctuary, his companion in solitude, stood as a silent sentinel over his resting place, guarding the secret of his remarkable life and work. His story, though etched in blood, wasn't one of despair, but of hope, a beacon illuminating the path for future generations to follow.